Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Shin Kamen Rider, a Japanese superhero action film from 2023 that is based on a Tokusatsu television series and weekly science fiction manga. The original airing was broadcast from 1971 to 1973 and has spawned an insane number of series and movies over the past 50 plus years. Now, I've only seen a handful of the Kamen Rider movies, primarily the ones that were directed by Keita Amemiya, the guy who directed the Zerum movies, so I watched his stuff because I wanted to just explore his filmography, but I haven't seen a lot of this franchise, so I'm only partially familiar with it. Now, this installment from 2023 was directed and written by Hideaki Anno, a man who's most popular for his Neon Genesis Evangelion anime franchise, but he also directed and co-directed, actually, Shin Godzilla, and he also directed solo a number of other interesting live-action films over the years. So the plot of this one is as follows. Motorcyclist Takeshi Hongo is kidnapped by the Sustainable Happiness Organization with computational knowledge embedding remodeling. That just rolls off the tongue. Thankfully, they shortened it to an acronym called SHOCKER. So that's the organization here. A sinister organization that transforms humans into brainwashed synthetic animal hybrids known as Augments or Augs. Hongo is transformed into Grasshopper-Aug 1, but is set free by Ruriko Midori-kawa, a former SHOCKER member, before he's brainwashed. So Shocker, the evil organization, sends out one of its executive agents, the Spider-Aug, to retrieve them. So Shin Kamen Rider opens with kind of a bang. We get a pretty solid action scene that's legit, I think. It has some practical car chase stunts, and whatever CGI they use actually looks pretty good for the most part. This opening sequence also introduces you to some of the quirkier elements of this franchise if we're not familiar with them, like a spiderweb that's built between two large trucks that the villains use, and they're trying to capture our protagonists who are fleeing on a motorcycle. So you have the motorcycle come in, and you have these two big trucks, like high-speed trucks behind it, with like a spiderweb between the trucks trying to catch them. It's pretty interesting strategy by the bad guys. And, after this vehicle chase, we get some fighting involving our insect-based Augments with their battle suits. And better yet, the violence is actually kind of bloody in this opening scene. I was kind of surprised. This is a good way to start a film. It's surprisingly fun. And while we're on the action beat and talking about the fights, I may as well sum up the action scenes. And we get some set pieces involving non-augmented humans, like just regular humans, without their suits and augments. And that involves some gunplay and other tactics. I enjoyed those moments as well because it helped to mix up the action design, so we just don't have superhero stuff the whole movie, right? Creates a variety, and it does ground the film a little bit in some aspects. There are some confrontations with the evil Augments that are constructed in creative ways, instead of just being traditional action set pieces. And in some action movies, I could grow frustrated by this, because I want all of the set pieces to be action-based. But in this film, Shin Kamen Rider, I enjoyed the moments that mixed it up, where the good guys had to manipulate the bad guys or maybe like outsmart them. And there's one example early on where a villain uses like a series of human duplicates or copies of a person as like a disorientation tactic. And the protagonists need to like counter that with an equal level of deception. So it's pretty cool. I liked a lot of those scenes in this. Overall, I'd say the action is good. The criticisms I would make is that during the second half, it does use some shaky cam during the rooftop fight against the Wasp girl, as well as the finale in the car tunnel. But even those scenes have some neat moments to enjoy. So I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by both the quality and the quantity of action in this. There's quite a bit of action in this movie, and the confrontations are spaced out pretty evenly throughout the runtime. Now, in terms of the costumes, the suit designs are pretty cool, actually. When you think about like insect modeled superhero outfits, it does sound pretty cheesy, but the ones in this film are quite modern. It even look a little bit stylish. They're also wilder than what like Spider-Man would wear, right? And as one example, the spider dude in this movie early on has like dreadlocks for hair, but the way that it's like modeled, the way his hair was modeled, is that it actually looked like there was a spider on his head, but it looked pretty cool. So if somebody like showed up in like a Halloween party with like that type of like a superhero outfit with the hair and the dreads, it would look pretty sweet, I think. Also, even like the regular characters, the non-superhero characters, look good. Like the female lead has a real sharp outfit, I thought. She has like a long brown leather coat that was like, she has a black shirt and pants underneath. It just looked real like stylish. This movie had some style to it. So whoever was in charge of like the clothing and the character design, I think did a good job here. The plot is summarized very efficiently and flows at a nice pace. The motivation of the villain organization is a little bit different and interesting in concept. The story structure does become a little repetitive as it moves along, because it's essentially multiple confrontations with evil augmented characters that are stacked one on top of each other. But it keeps things very focused, and the pacing is fast. This is a nicely paced film, I thought. There are some surprises, which I will not spoil, but I thought the plot progression was different from what I was expecting at the beginning of the film, but that could be because I'm not that knowledgeable of this franchise as a whole, so I'm not sure if it's a common theme in the franchise. But I thought the script did a nice job of bridging the action and giving us a few surprises. The actors are good. You may recognize Sosuke Ikematsu from films such as the recent Shinya Tsukamoto film Killing from 2018. He was also in Death Note, Light Up the New World, and Love's Whirlpool. And he's good enough here, but I think he was kind of upstaged by the lead actress, Minami Hamabe, who is especially charismatic in this film. She has really fantastic screen presence, kind of magnetic, and she has a spark in her performance. I think she emotes well, and she's very good at using like facial expressions and mannerisms. So I look forward to maybe checking out more of her films and maybe even TV shows I haven't seen. And as an added bonus, I mentioned Shinya Tsukamoto earlier, my favorite director of all time, and he gets an acting role in this film. Shows up early, but he only gets one scene in the entire film. So I was a little disappointed in that. I kind of wish he was in the whole movie, but it's good to see him here. And one final observation is that Hideaki Anno does utilize some interesting like stylistic choices from the director's seat. So in this film, I specifically noticed there are a number of camera shots with characters speaking to the camera. But they're not like breaking the fourth wall and speaking to us as viewers. They're talking to another character in the film, but the director chose to show them speaking towards the camera. And I thought that was kind of an interesting choice. It made some of the dialogue scenes a little bit more engaging and fun. So in summary, I very much enjoyed Shin Kamen Rider. I just watched it because it was a newer flick and it had, a few actors I noticed, but and the director, obviously. But I enjoyed this quite a bit, actually. So if you're into like Tokusatsu films, I strongly recommend it. And if you are a fan of this franchise, how does this stack up to like the prior TV shows and movies? And if you have any other recommendations for this particular franchise, give me some, because I'd like to explore it a little bit further. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.